Hello, welcome to the Christmas special of the Andrew Reeder Show. I know it's a little early, but he was booked in November, so please give a warm welcome to Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, everyone.
Alright, so, how was the trip?
It was a lovely trip. I'm not used to being out and about in this kind of weather. I'm glad I missed the storms that you guys have had in the last couple of weeks, but it was a very nice trip this time.
Must be hard to drive through storms in the sky.
It can be. The lightning causes some troubles, but we make do.
So, why aren't you in uniform here?
Well, the outfit I usually only break out for Christmas Eve. That's my traveling cloak. It helps me get up and down the chimneys and everything. It has a special magic to it from the elves.
So, how's the missus?
The missus is doing well. She's up helping oversee all the production at the warehouse while I'm gone.
Talking to her the other night, and she said you're actually on a diet.
I am. I do try to lose as much weight as possible before the big night, as we call it, because everybody leaves out some delicious cookies for me at every house, and it would be rude of me not to eat them for.
Well, if you don't eat these cookies, you won't be rude, trust me. I will eat them for you.
I'm sure you will.
Alright, so let's delve into your personal life. You were adopted, right?
Yes, I was. I was adopted way back in the 4th century by a lovely family that named me Nicholas of Myra.
You go by a few other names, don't you?
Yes, I've gone by many names. Santa Claus, Nicholas, St. Nicholas. Kris Kringle is my favorite, actually. That's the one that I usually go by. Well, that's what all the elves call me.
So, even Father Christmas in England and
Father Christmas, yes.
things like that. So, did being adopted ever affect you?
I do believe it did. It caused me to be as generous as I am, knowing that a family would adopt and raise a son that that wasn't actually theirs. They loved me because they loved me.
Well, I suppose so. Did you ever find out about your birth family?
I never did. Records weren't quite as good as they are nowadays back in the 4th century, so I was never able to find my real family. So, how did you come to meet the elves? Well, they heard about my generous nature and the good deeds that I did. The story of me providing money for a friend of mine's dowry so he didn't have to sell one of his daughters got to the elves, and they came looking for me to help spread good cheer and goodwill around the world.
So they already lived in the North Pole? They did.
They had a whole community with magic to try and keep them away from prying eyes of normal humans. They carried out good deeds, but they figured they needed a spokesperson, and they chose me.
Did they already fly on reindeer back then? They did
occasionally. More often than not, they just played games with the reindeer. Elves and reindeer have lived together for, since the beginning of time, and they had all sorts of fun together. Oh. In fact, they started the reindeer games that you've heard about in that cartoon from Rudolph. They love to play the tag. They play this fun game called air polo that is up in the air, and also tag, or hide and seek. But the bad thing is the best players are very hard to find.
Is that a joke?
That is a joke.
Okay. So, are the 8 reindeer that everyone knows about today, are they the original reindeer?
They are original from when the song came out. The reindeer's lifespan is generally about 700 to 800 years. These are the 3rd set of reindeer that I've had since I started using the sleigh back in about about the 5th century.
Oh, okay. And they're cage-free, I presume?
They are. They have free reign of the North Pole. We do have stables for them to sleep in, so they have a roof over their heads to keep them out of the elements, but generally they are allowed to run wherever they want.
All right. So into the elves, what kind of opportunities do you provide for them?
the elves have every opportunity available to them. They do come down to various colleges throughout the world for whatever they want to learn.
Undercover, of course.
And we have dentists, elves. We have doctor elves, veterinarians. Actually, that from Rudolph, that dentist that was in the cartoon is an actual story from way, way back when dentistry first started coming about.
So did that ever cause dissension like it did in the story?
Some did make fun of him when they first started because dentistry was new, but they got over it rather quickly.
And you have writers. I actually heard a rumor that most of the Christmas stories, like 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, were actually written by elves under pen names.
This is true. Just about every story, movie, cartoon, you name it, that was about Christmas and Santa had some sort of elf involvement. This is true.
It's amazing what you might find out.
This is true.
So, the elves, how do they organize themselves? Do they have a government?
They have a council of elders that they turn to for any problems. They don't generally have many problems. The elves get along well, but they do have a council of elders that they turn to for any questions.
Oh. Who's on the current council?
The current council is Graybeard the Wise, Red Nose, and I forget the third one's name. I think it was Pointy Ears. He just became part of the elders. So they just changed it around. Usually the elves live extraordinarily long lives, but about every 700-800 years or so they'll rotate the council of elders.
Oh. So that way they can retire.
Yep.
Okay. Do they have
some
good
retire
pension plans?
And come south. Some just retire from the board and rejoin the normal ranks.
So do they have pension plans or?
I'm not sure exactly what they have. I know they live a pretty free society up there.
Oh.
Everybody helps each other out. It's a very, very nice system.
So no real money or anything?
No.
Oh.
No money. They basically devote most of their time to spreading cheer and joy throughout the world.
Must be a nice place to live.
It is a very nice place.
What's the housing like up there?
Well, I am not entirely sure. Most of the elves' housing is underground. I cannot go in there because I am way too large to fit into the elves' houses. They're, fairly short. They did build me and the missus a house outside that they come and visit me. It's very nice. Like I said, there's no monetary system, so everybody helps each other out.
So, what's the working conditions like for them?
Very good. We have a block system of about 3 or 4 hours working, then 3 or 4 hours of playing.
Oh, playing.
And they rotate throughout.
So are they really silly like they're portrayed on the cartoons?
Some are. The elves are basically like humans. So some are silly, some are serious, some are, whatever. They range throughout. More often than not, the humans would find them silly because they like to entertain.
Oh, I suppose. Are there any other differences between elves and humans?
Aside from the height differences, not really. The elves are magical, of course.
Well, I suppose.
But other than that, no.
So, does Mrs. Claus cook for everyone?
Well, we do entertain the elves probably about every week. We have a different family of elves that comes and spends a supper with us. But the elves have a very different diet than we do. They survive on sugar, basically. Anything sugar they love to eat.
Oh.
So it sustains them.
I suppose there's not a lot of vegetation up there.
Not a lot. They do try to bring in for the reindeer and for myself and the missus. We're on a more plant-based diet throughout the year so that I can lose weight for the big night.
Because you guys are regular humans.
We are, yes. Even with the magic, we still have to eat regular food.
So what do you do in your free time?
In my free time, I don't have a lot of free time, but I do like to go fishing on occasion, and I play the reindeer games quite often.
Oh,
I am one of the best hide and seekers that they have had.
Really?
Yes.
I actually find that hard to believe.
Well, I can get through everybody's house in one night without them knowing.
I suppose. So I assume you must receive a lot of mail up there.
We do. We have one mailman that comes in.
One?
One only. He's had a lot of work throughout the years, but we've only had one, and he generally about every 15 years he'll get a successor to follow him, but we've tried to give him the magic to stay alive for longer, but they don't take it. I don't know why.
Suppose he'd kind of like to retire from carrying all that mail.
I'm sure he would. And we've actually recently tried to lighten his load some by switching to digital. We now have an email address that we will accept letters from.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's therealclaus1540@gmail.com.
Really?
We just put it into effect. I would have had Santa Claus 1, but somebody else had that before I was able to get it, so we had to go with the Real Claus 1540.
So there are a lot of impersonators.
There are. A lot of people try to be Santa for whatever reason. I don't know if they want to just bring joy in their family or what, but it does happen.
So are most of the Santas that you might see at the mall, they're not really you?
Oh, no, they're not. They are actually people that are hired. Occasionally, though, I will take a couple of weeks before Christmas and come down to a few malls and sit in for the Santa that they have, just to get a feel for the children and figure out how things are going.
So I suppose there's a good chance that a child might actually sit on your lap.
There is a good chance. Actually, this November 23rd, I have an event that I'm going to at the Williams Township Hall. That's why I'm here, in fact, so that I can spread the word about that on November 23rd.
I'm going to be there, actually.
In Auburn, yes.
You going to bring any elves?
I will bring a few. There'll be a few elves there to assist. And I'll be there, of course, I'll be there to have children sit on my lap and get their picture taken with me if they wish.
And it's all free?
It's all free.
Wow. Well, that sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, how's the naughty and nice list looking, by the way? I just had to ask that.
Of course you had to ask, Andrew. I will let you know right now you are on the nice list.
Oh, good.
Keep it that way, though.
All right, well, I didn't want to miss out again. Not that I ever have. Anyway, thank you for being here, Santa.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hope to see you on Christmas Eve.
I will be around.
All right. Thank you for watching the Andrew Reader Show. And do not forget, November 23rd at the Williams Township Hall, Santa's coming to town. Free admission, free pictures. Come on down.